This episode of the Ageless and Awesome podcast is sponsored by the Radiant Reset Hormone Detox Guide for Perimenopausal Women. As a woman in the modern world, our hormones are taking a battering. They're impacted by the food we eat, the toxins we're exposed to, such as when we eat out of plastic takeaway containers, or even worse, reheat food in them. Please don't do this. If you're handling FPOS receipts, filling the car with fuel, eating non-organic produce that hasn't been washed effectively, plus so much more things add to our toxic load every day. Even though our bodies are designed to effectively manage toxins, they haven't evolved as quickly as our toxic world has, unfortunately. So our body does need support. Symptoms such as stubborn weight gain, fatigue, disrupted periods, irritability, and gut health issues can be a sign that you'd benefit from a gentle detox. And that's why I developed the Radiant Reset Hormone Detox Guide for Perimenopausal Women. This free guide has an abundance of information to get you started on your very own DIY detox. And if you'd like to upgrade to VIP, it's only $47 for a limited time. I used to sell this program for $247. The upgrade gives you the recipes, including plenty of plant-based options, the meal planner, the shopping list template, the video workshop, and so much more. Click the link in the show notes to learn more now. Take care of your hormones. They are a critical part of your health as a woman. Hi, I'm Susie Garden, and this is the Ageless and Awesome podcast. I'm an age-defying naturopath and clinical nutritionist, and I'm here to bust myths around women's health and aging so that you can be ageless and awesome in your 40s, 50s, and beyond. The Ageless and Awesome podcast is dedicated to helping women through perimenopause and menopause with great health, a positive mindset, and outrageous confidence. Hit subscribe or follow now, and let's get started. Hello, gorgeous one, and welcome to Q&A Thursday with me, Susie. And this week's question is from Stacey from Brisbane. And she has asked me, I thought it was such a fun question. She's asked me, what is the most random menopause or perimenopause symptom that I've heard of or seen? And it gave me a laugh because, as you know, there are so many symptoms that can be attributed to the hormone fluctuations that happen in perimenopause and menopause. And so I went on a bit of a hunt to see, well, what is this? What could be the most random symptom? What haven't I spoken about yet? And I found one, and it's like, so with all due respect to people that experience this, I'm going to say it just sounds so fun, but it's absolutely not fun if you're experiencing this. So this random symptom that I really haven't come across before, it's called internal tremors. Yeah, internal tremors. So it's a feeling like a vibration inside the body, but it can't be seen. So it's not like, maybe if you put your hands out, sometimes people have like little vibrations or shakes in their hands. It's not like that. It's more of a feeling. It's a sensation. People have described it as like a buzzing, a vibration, shaking, quivering. It's almost like their phone is on vibrate and it's vibrating inside their bodies. Some people say it's happening in certain parts of their body. Some people feel it all over. I read some people saying that they feel it when they are quiet. So if they're reading a book or doing something that's like quiet, they can start to have that sensation of this buzzing or this internal vibration, this internal tremor. So interesting. And it was so interesting just to see the different ways that different people described it, because I got on a forum where a lot of women were talking about this this sensation in their bodies. And no one had really thought that it was related to menopause. Most people just thought it was something weird that was only happening to them. But it is a recognized peri and menopause symptom. And it's not so much painful, it's not debilitating, nothing like that, not like many of the other symptoms of peri and menopause, but it can just be distracting and a little unnerving to have this kind of weird sensation going on in your body. So even though it's not a commonly recognized symptom, it is believed to be because of the fluctuations in estrogen specifically. However, the mechanism that's causing this isn't actually completely understood. There's no research in it. And also it's obviously a very difficult thing to measure because it would just literally be surveying women if they have it. And yeah, it's kind of difficult to measure that. So I suspect there will probably never be any research on it. But the good thing is it's not debilitating and it doesn't seem to impact huge numbers of women. But certainly quite a lot of women do experience it. And the thing is, what we do know, I guess, and the reason why they're kind of theorizing that it's the drop in estrogen the estrogen fluctuations is that, these are the things, if you kind of apply some logic with the knowledge that we do have. And what we do know is that we have estrogen receptors all around our body. So it's not just, most people think estrogen, they think ovaries. That's not actually the case. We have estrogen receptors all over our bodies. We have it in our brains. And that's why we get so many symptoms when we hit perimenopause and menopause, is because of these estrogen receptors that are everywhere. And we know that estrogen can interfere with nerve function. So, these hormonal fluctuations, particularly with estrogen, can be described as a type of misfiring, which can cause that sensation of the internal tremor. And what they've found when they've talked to women about this is that women who are perimenopausal and still having periods might find that they're only getting that internal tremor sensation at certain points in their cycle. And this is one of the things that's helped to kind of drill down that the fluctuating hormones are the culprit. But because when you're in perimenopause, the hormones are kind of going all over the place, that's why women might experience them throughout the month without a pattern, particularly if your periods are a bit all over the place. So there's no testing for this. This is really just an experience that women have. So if you've got that kind of sensation in your body, you've noticed it, it's probably what it is. Obviously, I'm always going to say, if you have something unusual going on in your body, it's always best to get it checked out by a healthcare professional, just to make sure we're not overlooking anything, because obviously there are certain other medical conditions that can cause tremors in the body, things like Parkinson's disease, MS. There are some nutritional deficiencies that can cause it, like vitamin B12 deficiency, vitamin D deficiency, low iron. These can all cause that sort of tremor. Diabetes can actually cause that tremor as well. So in terms of treatment, there's not really a treatment as such, except to try and get your hormones under control. And definitely recording it that's so helpful. As a healthcare professional myself, it is so helpful if a client comes in and they've already been monitoring and recording their symptoms, whether you do it through an app, whether you do it just writing stuff down in a notepad or in your phone. It's so helpful to just try and link together patterns of when you're experiencing these kinds of symptoms, whether it's an internal tremor or any other symptom, trying to find a pattern, for example, with regard to stress or sleep or gut symptoms or anything like that, certain foods that you're eating that you might notice this symptom happening. It's all really, any information we can get is going to be really helpful. So things that they have noted that I was able to find in my reading, that they would consider triggers for internal tremors. Caffeine is one of them. That's kind of you could probably work that one out yourselves. Caffeine, foods that are high in sugar, foods that are high in salt can affect your nervous system. So it's possible that they may cause these internal tremors. Same with stress. Anything that's going to stimulate the nervous system might be a factor when it comes to these internal tremors, even though the hormonal influence is going to be the primary. If there are other things that can trigger, then it's good to try and remove them, such as those things I've just mentioned. Exercise can improve nerve function, but you don't want to do it in the heat because the heat might overstimulate your nervous system. Hydration is also really important for your nervous system generally. So for anything that could be nervous system related, making sure you're hydrated is really important. Remembering my calculation, 35 mils of water per kilo of body weight per day. So yeah, if you do have this, it's really important to perhaps get your B12 checked, your iron checked, your vitamin D checked, because they're really easy things to correct if they are the cause of those tremors. For some women, it might be appropriate to look at even menopausal hormone therapy, previously known as HRT. If it's really bothering you, if you're finding it so distracting that, it's really impacting your life, then maybe that's something to look at. But yeah, definitely finding out what is the underlying cause of anything that's going on in your body. That's super important. So I hope, Stacey, that has kind of, answered your question. I hope you've enjoyed the answer. If any of you do experience internal tremors, I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to know how many listeners are actually experiencing this, because I have to admit, I have not yet, in my many years of clinical practice, I have not yet come across a client that has mentioned that as a symptom. Now, that doesn't mean they haven't experienced it. It just means perhaps that they haven't really realized that it's related, or they haven't, they maybe haven't noticed it going on in their body, particularly if you're very busy, if you're very stressed, you may not even notice this is happening. So keep those questions coming in. I love to hear from you. Enjoy the rest of your week and have a fabulous weekend. And I'll be back on Tuesday with some fresh new content. Thanks so much for joining me today on the Ageless and Awesome podcast. If you liked today's episode, please make sure you click the little plus button if you're on Apple Podcasts, or the follow button if you're on Spotify, so that you get each new episode delivered to you every week. If you like free stuff, then head to the show notes and click the link to receive my free Radiant Reset Hormone Detox Guide for perimenopausal women. Or if you'd like to continue the discussion, head over to Instagram and DM me at Susie Garden Wellness. I'd love to connect with you.